The restaurant door chimed softly, and every head in the room turned at once. A tiny girl in a faded pink coat, no older than 8, stood on tiptoe trying to see over the hostess stand. Snowflakes still clung to her braids. She clutched a crumpled piece of paper like it was the most important thing in the world. "Excuse me," she said in a voice that trembled but refused to break, "I'm looking for Mr. Alexander Chen. Table 12. He's expecting my mom, but mom's sick, so I came instead." The hostess blinked. The couple at table 3 stopped mid-sentence. "And at table 12, Alexander Chen, 34, billionaire CEO, voted most eligible bachelor 3 years running," looked up from his phone and felt the floor drop out from under him. That was the moment the entire internet lost its collective mind. Because the security camera footage leaked an hour later. By morning, the clip, "Little Girl Walks into CEO's Blind Date," had 50 million views, and nobody was ready for what happened next. Alexander stared at the child. She stared back with huge brown eyes that looked far too old for her face. "You're not Sophia," he managed. "No, sir," she said politely. "I'm Lily. Sophia's my mom. She has a really high fever and the doctor said she has to stay in bed for 3 days and she was crying because she spent her last $20 on this dress and she really needed this date to work." Lily held up the crumpled paper. It was a printout of their match profile. "So I took the bus. 3 buses. I have her ID photo so you know it's really her." Alexander's throat closed. He had agreed to this blind date as a favor to his college roommate who ran the dating app, one appearance to prove the algorithm worked for even the busiest CEOs. He had planned to stay 15 minutes, make polite conversation, and leave. He never planned for this. He pulled out the chair opposite him. "Sit down, Lily. Please." She climbed up, knees not even touching the floor. The waiter approached, took one look, and retreated in confusion. Lily folded her hands exactly like a grown-up. "Mom said to tell you she's very sorry. She said you're probably very handsome and very kind and she baked you cookies but they're at home because she threw up this morning." She paused. "She doesn't usually throw up on Tuesdays." Alexander felt something crack inside his chest, something he hadn't felt since he was 10 and his own mother missed his elementary graduation because she was working double shifts. "Lily," he said gently, "how did you even find this place?" She pointed to the paper. "Mom wrote the address on the back. And I asked the bus driver to help me read the street signs." She lowered her voice to a whisper. "He was nice. He waited with me when I got scared at night." Night. It was 8:30. This child had ridden 3 buses alone in the dark. Alexander's hand shook as he reached for his water glass. "Do you have a way to call your mom?" Lily's lip quivered. "My phone died. I used Mom's makeup mirror to try to charge it in the bus light, but it didn't work." She looked suddenly terrified. "She's going to be so mad that I left. But she kept crying about rent and I heard her on the phone saying if this date didn't work we might have to move again and I don't want to change schools because I just made a best friend." The first tear rolled down her cheek, and Alexander Chen, who once stared down a boardroom trying to stage a coup and never flinched, felt his entire world tilt sideways. That was cliffhanger number 1. He stood up so fast the chair scraped. "We're leaving. Right now." Lily's eyes went wide. "Are you mad?" "No, sweetheart. I'm taking you home to your mom. And then I'm making sure she never has to worry about rent again." The second cliffhanger hit when they reached the apartment building, an aging walk-up in the worst part of the city. Alexander had insisted on carrying Lily the last 3 blocks when she started falling asleep on her feet. The hallways smelled of mildew and fried onions. When Sophia opened the door in an old robe, hair plastered to her feverish forehead, she took one look at her daughter in the arms of a man who clearly did not belong in this zip code and screamed. Lily woke instantly. "Mommy, don't be mad. He's nice. He bought me chicken nuggets. Sophia's knees buckled. Alexander caught her before she hit the floor. That night he sat on their sagging couch while Sophia slept off the fever and Lily curled against his side watching cartoons on his phone, because their TV had been repossessed 2 months ago. At 2 a.m., Sophia woke up to find the stranger CEO had ordered groceries, paid the overdue electric bill online, and left an envelope on the table with enough cash to cover 3 months' rent. She found him in the kitchen heating soup like he'd done it 1,000 times. "You don't even know us," she whispered, voice raw. "I know enough," he said quietly. "I know what it's like to have a mom who cried over bills. I know what it's like to be the kid who's scared to fall asleep because tomorrow might be worse." He met her eyes. "I'm not doing this because I feel sorry for you. I'm doing this because 8-year-old me needed someone to show up. And nobody did." Sophia started crying so hard she couldn't breathe. That was cliffhanger number 3, the one that broke 100 million views. Because the internet thought it knew how this story ended, rich guy plays hero, single mom falls in love, fairy tale wedding, done. But life isn't a 30-second reel. The real story took 18 months. Alexander didn't sweep in with a magic wand. He showed up every Thursday with takeout and board games. He paid for Sophia's nursing school but made her pay him back interest-free when she graduated, because dignity matters more than debt. He learned that Lily hated peas but loved dinosaurs, that Sophia sang old Selena songs when she thought no one was listening, that love isn't a headline, it's Thursday nights and doctor visits and teaching a terrified little girl how to ride a bike in an empty parking lot at dawn. There were fights. Big ones. Sophia once threw him out because a tabloid called her a gold digger. Alexander once disappeared for 3 weeks after a panicked board tried to tank his company over distractions. Lily had nightmares that he would leave like every other man who ever promised to stay. But every time it got hard, he came back. Not with money, with time. The one thing billionaires supposedly don't have. And on a rainy Tuesday 2 years after a little girl walked into a blind date meant for her mom, Alexander Chen knelt in the same rundown kitchen where he once heated canned soup. He held out a ring made from a meteorite, because Lily once told him stars were just rocks that never gave up burning. "Sophia," he said, voice cracking, "I didn't come here looking for a family. But I found one anyway. Marry me. Not because I can give you everything, because you've already given me that. Marry me because I want to spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of Thursdays." Sophia was laughing and crying so hard she could only nod. Lily, now 10 and missing both front teeth, yelled from the hallway, "Say yes, Mom. He already asked my permission and I said yes if he promises I can have a pet T-Rex." The wedding was small. Just 20 people in a community garden Lily helped plant. Sophia wore a simple white dress she paid for with her first nursing paycheck. Alexander cried through the entire ceremony, which the cameraman Lily hired with her allowance caught in perfect 4K. And when the video dropped, title, "Mom's sick, so I came instead," full story, 7 years later, it ended with present-day Lily, now 15, narrating over footage of her mom graduating nursing school, of Alexander teaching her to drive, of the 3 of them laughing in a kitchen that finally had a working oven. She looked straight into the camera and said, "People keep asking if it was fate. Maybe. But mostly it was a scared little girl who refused to let her mom give up. And a man who decided being rich didn't mean he had to be lonely. So if you're watching this and life feels too heavy, keep going. Take the bus. Walk into the restaurant. Say the scary thing. Because sometimes the person you're supposed to meet has been waiting their whole life for you to show up, even if you're 8 years old and wearing snow boots." She smiled the same smile from that very first security clip. Hit like if you believe in second chances. Subscribe, because we're just getting started. And comment below, who showed up for you when you needed it most. The screen faded to black on 3 words glowing gold. Love shows up. And somewhere out there, a little girl who once rode 3 buses in the dark finally got her happy ending. But more importantly, she got to give one to someone else.